you watch that animation? Wow, Robert, that's pretty cool animation. Up to $400 million worth of classic cars are going to roll across the auction block in Monterey and Pebble Beach. CNBC's dashing wealth reporter. Did you go into the production of that, Robert Frank? Did you see how cool you look on that? Join us now with some expectations.
I do get to go to some great-looking places, Joe, and we are here in Monterey for the biggest gathering of the year. As Andrew mentioned, some of the most beautiful cars in the world, the most expensive cars in the world, all gathering here this week. In fact, more than $400 million worth of cars, about 1,000 of these vintage classic cars rolling across the auction block this week. And this is the biggest test of the year for a market in classic cars that has really been in decline for the last 3 years. Sales here expected to be down again this year. You talk to collectors, they blame higher interest rates. They say all this global uncertainty is affecting it as well. But the big change right now in classic cars, the big driver and why things are down a bit, is because of this new generation of collectors. So millennials and Gen Z, they want cars from the 1980s, 90s, even 2000s, and that has left an oversupply of cars from the 1950s and 60s that were all loved and collected by the baby boomers.
The newer generations coming in, literally Gen Xers and millennials, they're driving the market today. They're the ones buying cars, and they're just interested in a different starting point. They don't come in here and say, well, I need to go make sure I cover all the older decades of cars before I collect the ones I really want. They're starting right off with the cars that they have the greatest preference for.
But, guys, the top lot of the week, the star of the week, is still one of these older cars. It's a 1961 Ferrari California Spider hardtop alloy body. Only 8 of these were made. The estimate on this is over $20 million being sold at Gooding & Company. And then Larry Ellison's car, it's a McLaren F1 that he actually bought new back in 1997. He probably paid around $1 million. Later sold it, but his car is coming to auction under sealed bids. The starting bid for Larry Ellison's used Formula One or F1 car from McLaren, starting bid of $23 million over at RM Sotheby's, guys.
Wow. I hadn't thought of that. That's interesting, Robert, but I hadn't thought that the new people in the market aren't looking for what we think of as classic cars. They're looking at things we think of we used to drive. We used to, some of those I feel like I didn't sell that long ago from the 90s and 2000.
Joe, they say that you collect what you loved as a teenager. They say that whatever you loved as a teenager, whatever cars, whatever music, is the kind of thing that you love later on in life. So you think about millennial Gen Z, what they loved as teenagers were cars in the 80s, 90s, and even 2000s. This car, though, this is a 1951 Ferrari Barchetta. They only made 28 of these at Ferrari, estimated at $4 million. So these older cars are still worth and getting sold for a lot of money, but the prices are down, some cases, 20 or 30% from what this car would have been worth, say, 5 or even 10 years ago.
And not because of the economy or anything like that. What about the economy? Can you glean anything from that, what's happening out there? Or is it inelastic for these things?
No, it's not inelastic. It is sensitive to what's happening in financial markets, the economy. Most of the collectors that are here in Pebble Beach, they own their own companies, so they're sensitive to tariffs. They're sensitive to what's happening in the broader economy. There was a stall in the market in sort of April or March when there was all that tariff turmoil. Now they're saying with the markets back with a little more sort of at least comfort with what tariff policy is, they're saying the collectors, especially the business owners, are feeling a bit more confident. But we're going to have to see, the sales really start today, and we're going to have to see today and tomorrow what those sales and what that confidence level really looks like.
Okay, Robert. All right, have fun. Great weekend. See you later. Thanks.